Okay, continuing with our interview series, I want to talk to you now about answering interview questions. And I'll break it into two topics. First, physical presence, and then what types of questions you're going to be asking and how you go about addressing them. So to start with, physical presence. Okay, I cannot overstate how much your physical presence, your hand gestures, your facial expressions, your body posture, things like that do to create some level of fit during the interview. Okay, it does show engagement. It does demonstrate confidence and things like that. But as much as anything, people read your body language in that way to determine what type of person you are. What is your personality? What is your attitude? What is your motivation, your drive, that type of thing. So it is so incredibly important for, once again, establishing that all-critical fit. And if you don't understand what I'm talking to you about fit, please watch our video series on fit and how important it is in terms of career development. But that being said, some things you should do: stand up straight, smile, always make eye contact with people. Now, you will break away from eye contact, but make eye contact to let people know you're listening, and then perhaps, like I say, look over towards things that you're pointing at or things like that. You don't want to make it weird that you're staring, not breaking eye contact at all, but generally having a good ability to follow people while they're talking, making eye contact, that type of thing. And if you don't do it naturally, it takes practice, okay? So practice that, having a conversation where you're staying engaged, making eye contact the entire time. Practice your introductory statement, meaning how do you introduce yourself to somebody? Hi, my name's Jason Gordon, putting your hand out and shaking hands, for example. Okay, practice that with other people ahead of time. Think about using somebody else's name. Are you going to call them Mr. or Mrs.? Well, that is what you default to start with. But in the event they invite you to use their first name, do it. Don't back away and use their last name again, right? That's backing away from somebody trying to bring you in to a closer relationship, right? Sitting up in your chair when you sit down, right? No crossing your legs. You sit, lean forward, head and eyes forward, that type of thing. I'm not saying you sit on the front of your chair military style, right? You just simply act engaged and lean forward. Leaning back looks like you're disengaged, that type of thing. But keeping your feet together, not on the floor, not crossed, is important as well, particularly for guys. Okay, so that being said, now let's move on to the types of questions. There's generally three categories of questions you could probably expect. One, job-related questions. All right, anything about the position, responsibilities, qualifications, things like that. So if you watch our video on things you should research before going into the interview, that's one reason you should know so much about the job, career path, company, that type of thing. All right. Next is personal, right? In these types of questions, they're trying to identify behavioral attributes, how you acted in the past, how you will act in the future, that type of thing, right? But they're trying to deduce it from, tell me about a time that you did this, that type of thing. Once again, this is where you're going to want to try to illustrate who you are by telling stories about your past, right? That takes a ton of practice. I recommend taking a sheet of paper, writing down everything of import, every situation that you can take some learning point from throughout your entire life. Okay, where it shows some level of leadership, some level of competence, some level of overcoming adversity, sometimes that you failed, sometimes that you could have done something differently, sometimes that you handled a difficult situation, sometimes that where losing was important to you, was actually the learning point there, that type of thing. Think about all of these scenarios. Now, make them very short, concise, and to the point. But the idea is that you should be able to tell every one of those stories in a way that shows a time that you won and a time that you lost, a time that you, could have done better, or a time that you succeeded, right? That type of thing. If you can look at it in multiple ways like that and try to cover that gamut, and we have a material on thebusinessprofessor.com about common questions that you'll be asked during an interview. So with that being said, look at some of those. Try to develop personal stories about these elements and attributes. And once again, you're going to be prepared for personal questions. Lastly, hypothetical questions. These are, what if this happened? How would you react? And the most common method for addressing that is the STAR method. Okay? The STAR method simply says, all right, identify the situation, right? State, okay, now here's the situation. Here is the task, or here was the task that I had to undertake. But, you know, in hypothetical, you're looking forward. So this is the situation. So here are the tasks I would undertake, right? Okay, the actions you actually took as part of it, all of the individual actions, and then the result, okay, the results of what you did, right? So what was the outcome, right? What was the effect of everything? It's a simple approach, just 4 steps. It's easy to keep in your head. But once again, if you follow this general guideline, it will help you in structuring, and you won't meander and throughout your conversation and not get to the point. So anyway, try following this method. Remember physical presence. Identify types of questions and practice them, and you will be prepared for your interview.